Traditional media organisations have themselves become the story as they struggle with the effect of the digital revolution on newspaper sales and advertising revenues. Fairfax Media, owner of the Sydney Morning Herald, The Age and the Australian Financial Review, had a stab at reconciling the tensions between new and old media this week with a management restructure. But the words deck chairs and Titanic spring to mind. Neil Woolrich reports.
The digital revolution might well be the biggest shake-up in written communication since Gutenberg invented the printing press 600 years ago. Trying to make sense of it all, and to make money as well, is one of Australia's oldest media names, Fairfax.
These are exciting times, with media companies around the world facing huge change in the way people consume media.
No one's got the answer. That's the really important thing. No one has really got the answer.
What is absolutely the case is that paid applications today alone will not offset the decline in paid circulation of your print product. And that's the crucial issue here.
This week, Fairfax Media Chief Executive Brian McCarthy hosted an investor briefing to outline the company's plan to deal with the rapidly changing media landscape.
Hello, everyone.
In a video message to staff, he said Fairfax had a 5-point strategy, which included an internal management restructure to save an estimated $10 million a year and a goal to make money wherever possible from online and digital applications.
Our strategy will enable us all to embrace the future as a highly competitive, successful and profitable business in Australia, New Zealand and in the United States. In short, to future-proof Fairfax Media and strengthen our position as one of the world's leading multi-platform companies.
It's a positive step. So identifying that operation cost going forward is important, and there's some cost savings there. That's a positive. And it's acknowledging the diversification of the business going forward. And they are reinforcing that theme. And that's important to reinforce that theme because media companies today are completely different to where they were 5 years ago and 10 years ago.
But other investors were not so forgiving, criticising Tuesday's investor briefing for lacking practical applications or a bold response to the recent years of declining profits, a period when the fabled rivers of gold from classified advertising all but dried up. Gerard Noonan has ink in his veins. The former editor of Fairfax's Financial Review says the company's critics are expecting too much and need to give the new strategy time.
I do think that the investment community likes to posture a lot, and the analysts like to posture a lot on this sort of stuff as though they really do know what's going on within these companies. And I mentioned earlier the tendency for them to think that News Limited has got it right. Well, I don't think that that's right at all.
News Corporation's Times of London became the first British paper to charge for online content when it erected a paywall in July. News Corp has sold 105,000 digital products in either monthly subscriptions or one-off downloads, but that has come at a huge cost.
Before its paywall strategy, Times.co.uk had about 20 million unique visitors a month. In total now, including its subscription base, it's got 200,000 per month. That's a 1% conversion rate. They're a long way from actually proving that this is a long-term sustainable model.
That means the Times is dropping off the radar for advertisers. And the problem for the broader industry is that fresh sources of revenue, like paid applications, are a long way from providing salvation, even for the free sites.
If you look at The Guardian, they had some real success earlier in the year. They were selling an application for £2.39. They hit about 100,000 downloads. You know, that's over 200,000 sterling in revenue. And then obviously you have to give Apple its 30% slice for selling paid content through that channel.
Now, it's a diminished amount of money that's coming from those newspapers. But newspapers, remember, for decades lived this sheltered life of fantastic flows of money. And they had returns on equity in the order of 30 and 40%. Well, that was always an unrealistic matter. It was sustained by the fact that there were heavy barriers to entry because of news presses.
UBS Head of Investment Strategy George Babouris argues that Fairfax is trading at an attractive price compared to its local and international peers because investors remain uncertain over whether the company's diversification strategy will work.
Fairfax are being successful from a bespoke nature, charging for the financial review. They just need to expand that concept going forward. So the jury's out whether you can monetise it and leverage it going forward because there's low barriers to entry. So it comes down to quality of content, and that's the key going forward.
Certainly the business model that underpinned great journalism and good newspapers is breaking down. There's no doubt about that. But it is also true, and I think Brian McCarthy did make mention of this, that the largest tranche of revenue that is still coming from the newspapers.
However, the key for Australian newspapers is to convince readers to pay for online content that until now they've been getting for free. And that's one revolution that even smartphones and reader tablets might not be able to engineer.